Hi, I'm Ross Payne and welcome to the Valley Preview. Yes, we're backing it up after a successful 2014 Sporting Bet Cox Plate Carnival. What about Manikato Stakes Night? Just one length between the first 8 across the line, and then on Saturday, our first ever international winner. Congratulations to Adelaide. Now, this Friday night, yes, we're here at the Valley from 5 p.m. That's when gates open, and the first race is scheduled for 6:15 p.m. First, let's get the track update from Marty Synan. Marty, beaten by Adelaide. Faulkner was pretty brave and buffering got flattened. That's racing, I guess. So good efforts. I want your take on what happened.
Yeah, I mean, buffering, you saw what happened at the start of the race where he caused that interference, and then at the winning post, the left-hand side he was at second, and the right-hand side he was sixth. That was a little bit unlucky there. They did come home strong, and then Faulkner, as you said, Adelaide, amazing run to run that wide and to beat him like that. So I wasn't far off there, but I think Nick needs to lead the tipping up to me, and as my horses both beat his home. So for this week, I think we'll pick race 6, number 6, Truffle, who our HR manager has a share in or as a part owner in. So he's promised me that I will win this week, and they have set the track up, put the rail out 7 where they say it's a bit leader by, so hopefully Truffle can get up for the punters this week.
Now, Marty, on a serious matters, the forecast for Friday looks very hot, and just looking around at the track, it seems to pull up very well.
Yeah, after 17 races on those 2 days, I couldn't be happier. I mean, there's very little wear and tear. We have moved the rail out 7 for this Friday, and we also had 25 mil of rain on the Monday, which was like perfect after our 2-day carnival. So it has recovered well. It looks fantastic, and yeah, just put it out 7 to give that inside 7 metres a rest for our meetings coming up through the Christmas period.
And now Nick Heathcote joins us once again. Now, Nick, what is going on with your tips? Even Marty beat you home.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with Criterion. He dropped the bet and spat it out, but then picked up late, and he only got beaten a length and a half, but you don't get paid for that. And Silent Achiever, she ran a bold race, and I can't believe Roger James isn't going to push onto the cup. It's devastating, but I guess that's racing, as they say in the classics.
It is, and what do you got for us this week?
In race 7 in the Essen Terrace Handicap, over 1,600 metres, I'm really keen on a horse called Bashan. Michael Rodd takes a ride for Sean Dwyer. He's got outstanding form around Under the Louvre and Lucky Hustler. They've both gone on to run really good races, and it was 3 and 4 wide last start, and I think it'll be really hard to beat.
And Nick, what else you got for us this week?
Yeah, well, there's no gallops this week, so we decided to catch up with track guru Marty Synan and learn a little bit more about track preparation. So, Marty, give us a run-through about water in the track since Cox Plate Day.
Yeah, after Cox Plate, we made the track on the Sunday morning, and then we applied 8 mil of irrigation. Hadn't had much water on it since the Cox Plate, and then we were lucky enough to get 21 mil of rain on the Monday, so that's probably perfect for a track to recover from a race meeting. And then we just pulled the rail down, as you said earlier, and then what we do is we just mow the track again. We sprayed a bit of chemical on it, fertiliser, and some power control products, which we always put on around this time of the year. And now we'll go into Friday night's meeting with the track ready for racing again.
And so, you didn't aerate the track this week?
Yeah, we did. We also, when we mowed on Wednesday, we also aerated it. So that's just something we've been doing on a regular basis, and we think that's benefiting the racing and also benefits the horses.
And what's that process involve, the aeration of it?
Yeah, it's just a machine on the back of a tractor. So it takes a full day to do, 8 hours. So the guys start early in the morning and they just run around, go at like a walking pace, and it just punches a heap of holes into the actual top part of the track.
And people always say that a lot of the tracks are overwatered, underwatered. How do you ensure that your track has got an even coverage of water?
Yeah, well, we have an underground irrigation system here at Moonee Valley, and we're probably very lucky. We have probably one of the greatest or the better water systems in Australia for a racetrack where it's very even. We do monitor when we do water, like we always look at the Weather Bureau and that to see when the winds are the quietest at night. We generally water overnight, and we look at the weather for evaporation, wind and all that sort of stuff before we actually put the water on. So there's a little bit goes into it. We also use a couple of tools called the going stick, which is we're trialling. It's an English-based tool, and we're trialling that for Racing Victoria. And we also use the pentrometer, which is what most tracks in Australia use, and it's probably been in use for the last 20 years.
So here we have the going stick, and for normal people at home, Marty, just run us through that.
Yeah, the going stick here, this is a tool that's worth about $10,000. So how it works is you actually push it into the ground like that, and then you actually pull it back. And what that does, that measures the penetration and also measures the shear, and that's done through this little disc. And that information's then recorded in this box here. You then take it back and download it onto your computer, and it does a spreadsheet which we give to the stewards before the race meeting. And as I said, they are trying to incorporate a moisture sensor into the end of this, and that'll also take the moisture. So at the moment, we use 3 tools. We use the going stick, moisture, and we use the Weather Bureau. So this is also the pentrometer, which is what we use in Australia. So I might just hand that over to Nick. How the pentrometer works, it's got a 1.5 kilo weight at the top, and it's a metre drop, and that replicates a horse's hoof. So what happens is you just put it on the ground, you press the pentometer and it actually rams it into the ground, and then it has a reading on the shaft. And what we do with the pentometer and the going stick, we do it at every 100-metre point around the track. So we walk around, we do it in the morning of a race meeting, and we do it the day before, and then on the actual morning of a race meeting. So what that information does is help us rate the track, and then we also use the moisture, the going stick and the pentometer for that information to be able to rate a track, good 3, dead 4, etc.
We're coming up to the 20th anniversary next year of the Strathair track being with Moonee Valley. What's the difference between the two surfaces? Can you explain that for us?
The Strathair is just a straight sand, and it has a mesh element in it which stabilises the sand. Works very similar to like the beach where the tide comes in. When it's wet it's quite firm, and then when it's dry it's soft. So that's the way the Strathair is designed to work. And with a conventional track, it's generally a soil and sand-based track with no inclusions, and that's what Flemington and the Caulfield are. So they generally work on root structure and that to hold them together, whereas ours is based around the root structure and the actual mesh elements in the profile.
You've been here for 30 years, so I guess you'd probably stick up for the Strathair surface. And what was the tipping point to get Strathair into Moonee Valley?
I know it wasn't cost because it's quite an expensive track to install, but they're starting to get a few in Australia now. Moe has one. The Kensington and Sydney is a Strathair. Mowbray in Tasmania has a Strathair. Darley also have a Strathair at their training track. So I think people are starting to see that they are the track of the future. And as I said, for the extra outlay at the start, I think you get the benefits in the long term by having a track like ours, which has been here for 20 years.
And now is the time to book in your Christmas party for 2014. Join us trackside. Go and see our website for further information, www.thevalley.com.au. Our members' dress regulations are relaxed for this Friday night, with a jacket and tie being optional. We look forward to seeing you this Friday night at the Valley.